Odds are if you're watching this video, then you're looking to purchase your next real estate property or your first property, or you're just curious in general about how to save money throughout this process. And all of those are completely fine, and I'm going to answer a lot of questions that might save you a lot of money during the duration of this video. So to kick it off, we're going to talk about building your team. What is your team? Your team is your agent, your property manager, your contractors, and your lenders. The first piece of the puzzle that I chose to go after was my agent. So why is an agent important? When you're talking with an agent trying to find the best one for you, you want to make sure of a few things. Firstly, you want to make sure your agent is also an investor. You want to make sure they know what you're going through. They can see things from your perspective. They're able to keep cost in mind a lot more when they are investor oriented. But also, like I mentioned before, they'll have connections. They'll have contractors they've worked with in the past. They've had lenders that they've worked with in the past. And they'll have property managers that manage their own properties that they have currently. So they're going through exactly what you're going through, and they know the best way to navigate it. That's why you need an agent that has those connections and that is an investor themselves. So we talked about connections. Now let's go a little bit deeper into the second member of our team, your lender. Ideally, your lender would have received clients from your agent, so they would have worked together in the past, but having an agent that has worked with the lender gets you access, not necessarily access to different loans that other people can't get, but maybe just like a slightly better version or additional perks that come with the loan. So like I said, for me, I was able to get a 3% conventional loan. So normally to get a 3% loan, it would have to be an FHA loan, which means you have to live in the home for a year. But a 3% conventional loan, you don't have to live in the home and you can immediately, renovate it and then rent it out and not live there, and that's fine. Additionally, normally when you refinance, whether it's a year or 2 or 5 years after you buying a home, you have to pay some sort of fee. I will not have to pay a fee just because of the connection that my agent has with my lender. So that's why connections are extremely important. Even the small savings that you get, over time, those things add up. Now let's talk about contractors. In a perfect world, the agent that you pick should have worked with many contractors over the duration of their time. These contractors should have worked on your agent's house. They probably worked on your agent's other clients' houses, so they're vetted and they're trustworthy. Additionally, the contractors will be able to give you a discount because the agent has given them so much business. They've given them so many clients that the contractors are then able to give you a discount on their services. And depending on what contractors you go with, this alone can save you tens of thousands of dollars. The agent that I have recommended me all the contractors that I have working on my house right now. It's currently under renovations. I've got siding going on. I've got window contractors going on, painting contractors, flooring contractors, the whole 9 yards. And I'll just give you a specific example of the siding. I probably went around looking for 3 or 4 quotes from different companies, 5 quotes from different companies. And for siding and windows, all of these companies were ballpark like $25,000, $35,000, $45,000 to get the job done. One of the contractors that's worked with my agent many times before and does a really good job was only $9,600. And that alone saved me at least $20,000. So it's the connections that are extremely important, and I can't stress that enough. And that's why it's so important that you do your due diligence when you're looking for your agent. I would recommend going on Bigger Pockets. Bigger Pockets is where I found my agent. And the reason I recommend Bigger Pockets is because most of the people on Bigger Pockets are investors themselves, which saves you a whole lot of time. And you can read through all of the reviews, and they're not random Google reviews that a robot typed out. They're vetted, real reviews from real clients. So I highly recommend going on Bigger Pockets. Now let's get into property managers. You can utilize property managers actually before you even go under contract. Before you even sign with them to be their property manager, they're extremely helpful. How are they extremely helpful? Good question. They'll help you identify the amount of revenue that a rental property can generate in rent. So if I'm looking at a property, trying to decide if I want to make an offer on it, I'll talk to my agent and say, hey, I'm really serious about trying to put an offer on this house, but I want to make sure, the rental income is there. They can talk to their property manager if they have connections and ask them to, run a comp on the property and see how much rental value they estimate it can generate. You don't want to put in an offer on a house, go on a contract, and then find out that it won't generate the amount of rent that you think it will. Now, obviously, there's ways to calculate, rental estimates on your own, which I've done too, but the estimate given by a property manager will likely be way more accurate than any estimate you yourself will come up with. Next, I want to talk about the appeal. They're able to determine what colors, what finishes in a home, what style of a home are most appealing to renters. This will help you make sure that your house is not on the market for a very long time when you are putting it up for rent. You don't want your house to be vacant, because if it is vacant, then you're losing money. So the property manager that I'm using right now, my agent uses on her homes and her other clients' homes. So in general, property managers will charge you 10 to 15% of rent. Because of the connection that my agent has with my property manager, I'm only being charged 8%, which might not be a whole lot, but it's a few $1,000s a year. So, like I said earlier, a few things, a few small items can really add up to a lot. So I'm hoping that after I've gone through all of this stuff, you're kind of starting to paint a picture in your head of what you can do to minimize the amount of money that you have to spend, and you can maximize the amount of money that you're going to save. Above all else, no matter who you find, please make sure that they are well connected. Ask them if they've had contractors working on their own properties, if they have contractors that they have discounts with. Connections save thousands. And that's the message I wanted to get through to everybody on this video, because it's something that's so overlooked. You can crunch numbers all day, but you can't foresee what money connections will save you. When you're running through the numbers and crunching everything up and seeing if a deal works, you're not taking into account connections at all. So depending on what team member you have standing beside you, that can greatly change the outcome of whether your next rental property or next real estate project in general is a success or a failure. If you have any questions about anything that I said in the video, then please let me know down in the comments, and I'll try to make another video kind of going into more detail and explaining. But until then, I'll see you next time.